Hi, good morning. I'm Ajay, and today with me is my colleague Satchit. We both handle the telco
Morning.
for Southeast Asia, and then here we are to take the Gen 4 challenge. Are you ready, Satchit?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. So, recently I read an article on Wikibon in December 2014. He published it, and it explained basically that all the new data centers, the solid-state data centers coming up now, are going to be solid flash array data centers.
Correct.
And he then went about explaining the different phases of Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, and Gen 4, which is current. That put me into a bit of interesting mode because I went through the whole article reading how the generations of storage or flash, which is now today, has evolved, and I could try to correlate personally with a telco experience, right?
Yeah.
So if you date back around a decade or 2 decades back,
Correct.
what was primarily a telco operator? Just a fixed line,
Yeah.
one charge and number of talk times,
Correct.
nothing else, no value-added services. Then came the WCDMA or the CDMA, which was primarily bought in from the American defense system. In this part of the region, we try to talk about WCDMA, wireless CDMA, and the limitation of that was it was basically in the line of sight.
Correct.
You could have walkie-talkies moving around. Third phase, that led to the third phase of GSM,
Yep.
right? Which megahertz were released to operators. They operated on the simple frequency. They gave everybody a handset. They were big handsets, and that's where it led to the Gen 1.
And when these GSM operators came about, they started adopting data center platforms. And that's where Gen 1 platforms started supporting these GSM applications.
Correct.
But what happened was these Gen 1 platforms were full of spinning media. They were good enough for unidimensional GSM providers, but interestingly, the telco started evolving and started providing multiple different services,
Yes.
which required maybe a next generation of architectures, which led to
The Gen 2, right? But I didn't see any difference between Gen 1 and Gen 2 because primarily Gen 2 was also a bit of mixed flash into the main spinning disks storage, right? But those are golden periods for people like in the industry because people wanted performance, people wanted data protection, people wanted SLAs to be met.
Yeah.
And the only answer was add more disks, add more device, add more controllers, right?
But the spinning media didn't really give them the predictability.
That was the time in
required.
Gen 2 when applications became more relevant to telcos because that's the time when voice call was important and SMS, MMS service was important and more important than that was the data services.
Yeah.
The evolution of data services, the internet happened on that phase and that's where they saw a load of internet applications coming onto the device. All the telcos at that point of time adopted specific applications, upgraded their current application sets. The industry saw a complete paradigm shift. You could see billing vendors, you could see ERP vendors, you could see vendors like us running around and trying to sell better and more performance.
Yeah.
And then came Gen 3, right?
Yeah, so with that evolution, it required another set of platform and to support these new set of telco applications. And frankly, Gen 3 providers came about. They did adopt Flash as their key go-to-market strategy, but a lot of them missed out either of two very key things that are required in a true all-flash architecture. One being always-on data services, and the other being predictable performance. All these vendors only fell into either of these buckets, but none of them actually provided the true predictable performance and always-on services that, frankly speaking, our telco customers are looking for, right? Which led to Gen 4, the need for Gen 4 kind of.
Coming back to Gen 3 first, Satchit, that's the time when applications were standalone applications.
Yeah.
One provider could not provide all applications. You could see a rating engine coming from one vendor, you could see a mediation coming from one vendor.
Correct.
Today, if you see a telco,
It's all converged.
it's all converged,
Yeah.
right? But coming from different applications. Let's take an example of mediation, right? The name itself suggests it's a mediating or a mediative device, right? What it does is actually takes the call data records, which is essential, take the data services, collates them against a particular subscriber and then pushes across. So what it requires is a high write and a high read.
Correct.
Normally, how many times in a month does a telco operator do a billing cycle?
About 2 times.
2 times runs.
Yeah.
Those are the times when I saw typical telco operators keeping standby everything, allocating the resource and moving the applications to perform better, right? And then that's where we saw Gen 4 coming in. I think Gen 4 is the answer for every operator today. And I can convincingly say that because I have seen operators giving performance and data protection and data much more importance and also trying to ask for better SLAs.
Correct.
So there we are on Gen 4, right?
Correct.
What is the best benefit of Gen 4? tightly coupled
Scale-up
architecture,
is
architecture,
important,
right?
but at the same time, always on data services is also important
And mind it, no compromise. It's a petabyte scale flash
Yeah,
in one time.
telcos are growing with hundreds of millions of subscribers. You need petabyte scale, always on data services, and tightly coupled scale.
Tell me one thing that they will all like to have in a data center coming now.
The EMC Extreme IO.
EMC Extreme IO. Are we Gen 4 certified? Yes, we
We
are
are
Gen
Gen
4
4
certified.
certified.
Good luck.